so they may or may not be for sale. They were looking for some outside investment.
Yeah.
And then it turns out a couple of people made bids to buy the club in its entirety. Do you have any
Yeah.
thoughts on the Man U on the bids? Have you seen any of that?
Yeah.
I think
So
one of them.
yeah.
Oh,
What'd you
go
say?
on, go. I was
What'd
gonna
you
say,
say?
go ahead. I was just gonna say, I think I feel like there was a few, but the ones that were the most important were the ones that came from the guy that's like the head of the Qatari
Yeah.
bank, and then the British business billionaire. I forget his name now.
Yeah. Jim Ratcliffe.
Yeah, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts there?
I mean, it's so crazy because everyone's been talking trash on the Glazers forever now, and I think that the Man United fans definitely want them out. But it's just a weird thing. It's like a weird sale. It's like, hey, we're not really up for sale, but maybe if the price is right, then yeah, we'll sell it. So like, just putting the feelers out there, and they're already saying that it's going to be what, around like 6.5 billion for this club.
Well, so that's the thing. Like the Glazers want 6.5 billion, but they're saying it's only worth about 4.5,
Yeah.
and we don't know how much the bids were for.
Yeah, I know that Jim Ratcliffe has been a lifelong Man U fan. However, he like what when he made his money or whatever, he's been living in London forever. So they've been, I guess, Chelsea season ticket holders for ever and ever. So his kids grew up going to Chelsea games, which is why he was linked to also buying Chelsea. But
Yeah.
um, his obviously preference would be to own Man United, and I just think that yeah, obviously Man United is going to cost more than Chelsea, but man, 6.5 billion is what they want is wild because I don't know if you've heard about all of the like
I know
repairs
what's
and
going on. Yeah.
disrepair that like Old
Yeah.
Trafford is in, and
Yeah.
that whole
Yeah. The condemned stadium. You're going to have
dude.
to start from scratch.
Yeah, it's going to be a big challenge to get this place back to. It's going to be a big challenge when you've got to already up and pay 6.5 to just own the thing. So yeah, going for 6 seems insane. I don't know if it will. That Sheikh that owns the bank probably has that amount of money, I would imagine. But
Well, dude, the difference is like the Sheik. I'm just going to call him the Sheik, okay? No
yeah,
disrespect. I'm just going to call him the Qatari Sheik because I'm not good with those names like that.
yeah.
Excuse me. He said he'll just buy the club outright.
He's like
He's like
here,
he's like,
yeah,
here's the check, 4.5 billion. Take it or leave it. The club no longer has debt. I own the club outright. He said he's also a Man U fan,
yeah,
and I'm gonna start putting money into this club right away. I'm gonna like revamp this part of the city. I'm going to build new training facilities. Ronaldo was pissed about the training facility. He said they have the same jacuzzi from 2003. That was dirty. He did him dirty when he said that. I was like, dang, this is a small club. And he said he's also going to build a new stadium. Whereas Jim Ratcliffe, he's going to have to put together a consortium. It's like I don't know. I get it. Like you want a British owner. Like that would
yeah.
be,
That's what was going to be my question to you. Would you
yeah.
prefer a British owner, the Glazers, or the Sheik? If you're a Man
I,
U fan, who do you
if I'm a
want?
Man U fan, I'm rolling with the Sheik all day because I'm like, listen, like I know people are like, oh yeah, like Qataris, if it's the state, you got to deal with like, oh yeah, like do they hate gay people? Are they committing genocide? Are they beating women? So on and so. Okay, maybe that's a characterization of a whole group of people, but I'm saying these are the kinds of questions that people are asking. But I'm like, this guy, the Sheik, this Qatari Sheik, he's like he's like a chair like on the board for like like I can't remember which Swiss bank it is, but like I feel like he's already like integrated into like European society and
Yeah,
been
yeah,
vetted to the degree where like they're like, yeah, this is a like an outstanding person. Like he's not like doing all this stuff, and it's like him buying it as a person that's setting up like a foundation to do it. So I feel like if I was a Man U fan, like if it was like, oh yeah, Saudi Arabia is buying your club or Qatar is buying your club, that's one thing. But like, oh, this man who happens to be from Qatar
hmm
is buying your club and he's also a Man U fan. I'm like, he has more money than you, Ratcliffe. Like, sorry, like you
yeah,
can't use your nationality to get like your nationality is not going to win us any championships, and it's certainly not going to convince any players to come play for you. But you know what is
money.
money.
But that being said, do you think that, like, let's say that it's 10 or 20 years from now, and 90% of the Premier League clubs are owned by non-British people, let's say, Americans or Qataris or Middle Eastern companies or whatever. Do you think that that would potentially pose any sort of problems for the Premier League, or do you think that that's just kind of the way that it's going and everybody needs to be fine with that?
Me personally, I feel like this is I feel like it's a little bit weird territory. Like obviously, like yeah, it would be better. Like oh yeah, like this is an English club owned by an English person, but if there's a better person for the job,
Hmm.
why should they be precluded to do it because they're not English?
Yeah.
You know, that's how I feel. It's like I mean, like, would I rather have an English owner? Like, let's say Southampton. Would I rather have an English owner at Southampton? Or if there's, let's just say, for sake, I'm wearing a Turkish shirt. A Turkish billionaire is like, yo, I'm a big Southampton fan because my nephew played there, back in the '90s, and we've been following ever since. I fell
Hmm.
into some money. British clubs are a great investment. You can spend a ton of money and just play the long game and know that if I put in $10 billion, I might get 8 billion back, and at the end of 15 seasons, I can sell it for 3 times what I paid for it. And
Yeah.
you know what? That's good enough for me just to get a 2x or 3x of my money, and I can spend a ton. And then you have a British guy that's like, well, I'm also a fan, but like our model's like a lot less aggressive. Like we can only spend, you know, 30 million a season, and that's what we're gonna just spend 30 million a season for the next 10 seasons, and we'll just exist in the Premier League. I mean, I don't know. What do you think? Like for me, I'm like, yeah, like you got to go with whoever's best for the job. Like nationality, really, unfortunately for me, can't really play a factor. I mean, if it's an
Yeah.
American owner that's cheap, like I feel like, for example, when you think about like American owners, historically they're not great owners because they
Right.
treat it like a business. So
Yeah.
I'm like, but like Todd Bowley, I mean, despite being brand spanking new to all this, he's broken that stereotype that the
Yeah.
American owner is a cheap owner. So like if there's like I feel like it's just like the kind of owner you are versus where
Totally.
you're from, and
Versus where
like
you're from. Where you're from
yeah,
probably should is a bad way to, that's literally judging. you know. So,
yeah.
but to the